All right. One other thing to get to. This is from The Sun. It says, Britney Spears' father last night defended the controversial legal order that sparked worldwide outrage, insisting she could have died without it. Speaking exclusively for the first time about the 13-year conservatorship, which controlled almost every aspect of the troubled U.S. pop star's life, Jamie Spears claims he is far from the monster he has been painted as. In his first interview in more than a decade, Jamie, speaking ahead of a book by Britney's ex-husband Kevin Federline about fatherhood in the midst of public drama, said, quote, "My God, where would she be without that conservatorship now? I ain't gonna paint you no pretty pictures. That conservatorship was one hell of a time, and without it, I don't know if she would be alive now." Jamie's 70 years old, has endured slurs that claimed he wanted power over Britney, 41, to line his own pockets and micromanage her career. Even though he says all decisions under the order were taken jointly with a, quote, group of very good people, her fans saw him as a controlling puppet master. You know, this whole story is frustrating to me. You had this pitchfork mob that has assembled demanding that Britney be released from her conservatorship, despite having absolutely no idea what was going on behind the scenes. Okay, no idea. And I made this point at the time. It's like, you're calling free Britney. You have no clue what's actually happening. You don't know. You saw a Netflix documentary. That's all you saw. That wasn't even pretending to be objective. All they knew is what Britney Spears told them. And surprise, Britney Spears doesn't think she should be under a conservatorship because every person who is in a conservatorship doesn't want to be in one. That's just assumed. That doesn't mean that automatically, like anytime you're forcing someone to do something, of course you have to force them, which means they probably don't want to do it. But the fact that they don't want to do it doesn't necessarily mean that it's wrong. It could be wrong, but it depends. Like there are people in the world who are a danger to themselves and others. Okay, whether Britney Spears is one of those people, that's a different conversation. But those people exist. There are those people out there. And for people like that, these kinds of arrangements can be necessary because otherwise they're going to hurt themselves or hurt other people. Now, as for Britney Spears, what do we know about her? Well, we didn't know a lot, but based on what we knew, she was a nutcase. She lost custody of her own kids in California. A woman lost custody of her own kids in California. Do you know how utterly disastrous of a mother you have to be to lose custody of your kids? In California, no less. So we knew that. We saw all the crazy stuff on social media. We saw how she rambles incoherently. Like even when she was defending herself and trying to explain why the conservatorship was terrible, she couldn't string together a coherent sentence. She's like incoherent. Does all of that mean, and now she's like posting 56 nude pictures every day. It's just like, it's like naked, babbling incoherently. It's all the signs of a crazy person. Does all that mean that she actually is crazy? Well, I can't say that for sure because I don't see what's going on behind the scenes. But like it seems like all the signs are pointing in that direction, and there are no signs pointing to her being actually sane. Does that make her dad a good guy? No, because he pimped his own daughter out to the music industry when she was like 15 years old. So he, at a minimum, consented, at a minimum, to having his teenage daughter turned into into what she was turned into. So, her first song, she was like 15, 16 when she performed that song. So he's obviously not a good guy, which is why if people had been arguing that someone else should have control over the conservatorship, then that would be one thing. But instead they said free Britney and just free her entirely. And now she's probably going to be dead of a drug overdose within a couple of years. And all of her fans that called for this, like, this is going to be partly on them. This is what you wanted. Like, does anyone think she's going to live to 50? Does anyone think that? Does anyone see that happening? Seems very unlikely. And that'll do it for this portion of the show. As we move over to the members block, hope to see you there. If not, talk to you tomorrow. Godspeed.